So today we are going to start with the unit 2, that is your CMOS inverter. Fine. So as in the last class I told, in your any CMOS logic, your MOS inverter is the core block, means using every in the every CMOS logic, any circuit you take, the most the it will be built using your 1 minute from beginning. Okay, the code block is your inverter. So in this chapter, we are going to do detailed analysis of your CMOS inverter in terms of static characteristic like calculation of noise margins, and in terms of dynamic characteristic like your timing behaviors. So now this is a CMOS inverter. As you see the symbol, the standard symbol. And what is the truth table? The truth table says, let's say Vi is the input and V0 is the output. If input is 0, and this V plus is the supply. So if input is 0, output should be 1, and if our input is 1, output should be 0. Okay, so this is the simplest inverter. Like say if I say this is a switch, okay, and which works on logic high, logic 1 it turns on. So Vi here, when Vi is 0, the switch is open, there is no path from output to the ground. So the whatever the VDD, the supply will be there, that will reflect to the output and will get logic 1. And when it is 1, the switch is closed, and a short circuit path, if it has a very less resistance, let's say R is very less, almost 0, a short circuit connects from output to the ground, and we get effective value at the output 0. So when we study about the static behavior, we will study the doing the analysis of noise margin. So noise margin, what happens when, like, we have logic 1 and 0, we have generated at one instant, and then we transmit this 0 or 1 in the air or via wire, then there can be a chances to get the distorted signal. Means signals whatever being transmitted, that can get damaged or distorted due to addition of, like, your additive noise which is inside, like say the voltage can be added up, and your this 0 voltage can be degraded to some other than 0, like zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2 voltage, and one can be degraded to, like, say, your zero point 0.8 or zero point 0.9. So in that case, whatever logic values we are getting at the receiver end, we denote if 0 is transmitted. So maximum we will say, if output we are considering with low, so we will say VUL. So what will be the definition of VUL? There are four terms in order to calculate the noise margin: VUL, VUH, VIL, and VIH. The suffix O stands for your output, and L stands for your low. Similarly, here H stands for your high, and I stands for your input. So these four parameters are required in order to predict the noise margin. So let's go to the definition. VUL means voltage, is voltage, O means output, and low. So VUL, this symbol denotes that it is a nominal voltage corresponding to a low logic state at the output of a logic gate for Vi equals to VOH. Okay. So it is the low nominal voltage when the output is low. So if it is a perfect CMOS inverter, if let's say it is an ideal CMOS inverter, if 0 is transmitted, if 0 is the input, what should be the output? 1. If 1 is the input, output should be 0. Now what is 0 here? 0 means here ground, and 1 means your supply. But what happens due to noise, the we cannot get strong one, but a weak one comes. Whenever the weak one comes, you can say it is as a VUH. The output is VUH, and when a weak 0 comes, we say it as a VUL. So that's the definition here, that VUL is the weak 0, okay, which can be considered as a low logic, and it is generated at the output. And when it is generated, when input is high. Okay, so when input is either VDD, or you can say weak 1 also can be the input, so that is your VH. So we are considering that this degraded voltages are the function of degraded inputs. So VOL will depend upon VOH. So when input is high, means weak high, then we will get weak 1, weak 0. Similarly, VOH is the voltage which corresponds to a high value when input is VOL. Okay, when input is weak 0, then we will get here weak 1. Similarly, VIL is the maximum input voltage that can be recognized as input logic level. Okay, so VIL means maximum input which can be said to be a logic 0, logic low. Similarly, VIH is the minimum input voltage which can be considered as logic high. Okay, that is VIH. So if we see graphically, let's say this is the transmitter. Okay, here I am transmitting some logic 1 and zeros, and this is the receiving end. So if I draw a line this, so this is the logic levels, and I said that this is your logic 0 and this is your logic 1. Okay, and why there is a range? There is a range because, let's say, because there is some tolerance level of the devices, the passive elements or whatever we are using, there are some fluctuations little bit in the device itself. So we say, okay, there is some normal range, and let's say it is nothing but this high level logic high means it will be VDD, and outputs due to some fluctuation, let's say 0.1 volt is the tolerance level. So 0.1 volt we can tolerate, and we will say it is a logic 1. Similarly, at logic low logic, we'll say this is a ground, and this is some fluctuation, let's say it is zero point 0.1, means zero point 0.1 change is acceptable here. Now when we transmit, due to the this wire, let's say if it is a wire, in the wire there will be some parasitic capacitance or inductance, due to which there can be a voltage addition. So due to which, here what happens, this logic 1 gets enlarged, okay, by some noise. So if this was my original value of zero point 0.1, and let's say here 0.05 is the additive noise which comes into the picture, and my complete logic got swing from here to here. Previously it was zero point 0.1, now it is 1.01, now it is 0.15. Okay, so whatever is the deviation is from this level to this level. So this is the deviation occurred. Similarly, in the low logic, if we transmit, suppose this is transmitted here, so this is my actual output which transmitted as an input to here. But what happened, due to noise, this is the deviation got, this is the deviation which is seen here. So for this particular device, zero point 0.1 is the logic high and zero point 0.1 is the logic low. But for this particular inverter, my 0.15 is the logic 1 and 0.15 is logic 0. So whatever this change is happening, whatever this change is happening, that will correspond to the definition of noise margin, means how much noise my device can tolerate. Okay, so how much noise that device can tolerate. So if I say that this is a valid noise margin, okay, this is tolerable, so this much disturbances also can be accepted. So from here pictorial we can say a noise margin high, noise margin high, this is a acceptable one. What will be the calculation, how the calculation will be done? This is your, if I say this is the input, this is the input of this inverter, and this was the output, and we have just transmitted. So this is VIH, this level is your VIH. Okay, and what is this level? This level is called your, let's say, VOH, the weak one. So minus, sorry, VOH minus VIH. Okay, so that will be the definition of your, 1 minute, it is, okay. So high noise margin, high noise margin will be from VDD, this was your weak one, and this was due to the noise. But since if I say this is a acceptable range, this range is acceptable, So noise margin high will be given by VOH minus VIH. Okay, we are measuring with respect to ground and ground is here. So with respect to ground, VOH will be at higher potential and VIH will be at lower. So VOH minus VIH. Similarly, noise margin low. Noise margin low will be what happened? This is VIL and this is VOL. So noise margin low will be which is at higher potential, VIL will be at higher and VOL is the lower. So VIL minus VOL. So this is the noise margin calculation technique. Okay. So in terms of if I define the noise margin, if this is the zero potential, 0 volt. So from here to here, let's say this V plus is nothing but VDD. Now from VDD, due to device this tolerance, let's say this is your weak one. Okay. Now when we do transmission due to noise, or instead of transmission you say we due to noise, my voltage level due to noise, my voltage level came to at this level, the 1 voltage. So this becomes this is weak one, this is degraded weak one. Okay. So from here to here logic 1 was there, which was defined in the which was earlier defined, and what will be the fluctuation that will correspond to the noise margin, and it will be given by VOH minus VIH. So noise margin high is VOH minus VIH. Similarly at the bottom for the logic 0, if this is your ground, this is your weak 0, and this will say as degraded 0, and this happens due to noise, this value. So what we can say, noise margin low is nothing but VIL minus VUL. So VIL minus VUL. So for the output, logic 1 and 0 is only this range. Okay, logic 1 and 0. Whereas for the second inverter, which was transmitted through a wire, the logic 1 will correspond to the complete this. Okay. Now think, suppose further I propagate. So this was your, let's say this was your inverter, and from here this output was transmitted at this inverter, and the input is here. Again it will be degraded. Further again if I give, so if I make a cascade connection of inverters, so at one level what will happen? This undefined state will come here, and this complete will be comprising logic 1 and logic 0. So it is very important to know what is the noise margin of the circuit. In the static behavior, we will be studying about the calculation of noise margins. So this is the inverter, and if suppose input is low, and if we give like a simple a pulse, so it starts with 0. So at the same time, if it is an ideal inverter, at the same time the output will be reflected. If it is a very fast device, it will get 1, both will be aligned, and a sudden 0 to 1 cannot be there. Definitely there will be a nanosecond difference, so a slope is there, and it changes to logic 1, and correspondingly there will be change in output, and it will goes to logic 0. So this is the inverter characteristic. So if I say draw the VTC characteristic, so if this is input and this is output, so when input is low, output is high. When input is high, output will be 0. So the curve will come like this. Okay, this curve is nothing but this curve. So this is called your voltage transfer characteristic, VTC curve. Okay, logic 1 and logic 0 is there. So when we define this as a VDD, let's say it is a logic 1 and this is logic 0. So and this is your, this complete is your logic 0, this complete is your logic 1, and this is your uncertainty or transition stage. Okay, so let's say this is defined logic 0 plus noise margin is also included here. So what happened in this mode? So when we study the CMOS inverter, we know there are two transistors, NMOS and PMOS is there. So and they have the region of operation, say cutoff, linear, and saturation. Similarly, this device will also have cutoff, linear, and saturation. Right. So these transistors will depend upon the input voltage, their mode of operations. When input is low, definitely any one will be in cutoff. When input get rises, when input starts increasing its magnitude, one of the device will go into some other mode of operation, because there are different region of operation. So based on different region of operations, in this level definitely NMOS and PMOS will behave in some certain region of operation. In this also they will behave in certain region of operation. And during the transition also, this transition also, these devices will be in some state. So what are these states we are going to study now? Okay. And when it is being studied, from there we will determine that which of the mode is used for the analysis of, which of the mode will be useful for digital application and which mode is useful for the analog application, because the same transistor is used in both type of circuitry, analog and digital. But based on their mode of operation, we decide this is best for this. Like in cutoff, linear, and saturation, we will say logic 0 and logic 1, which mode should be, which so mode should be selected. Like cutoff means definitely logic 0, but the question come logic 1 will correspond to linear or saturation. So that we'll see. Now this is the VTC curve of the inverter. As I said earlier, this is the VTC curve, this is the input, this is the output. So from here, so this is the curve. Now in this curve, if I want to map the noise margin calculations, how it was done. So this, let's say this is your VDD supply and this is your ground. So this is your week 1, let's say this is week 0. Okay. So from here a point will be cut here in this curve, and where it cuts, okay, this point and this point. Okay. So in the curve, in the curve, this point, at this place, my dv naught by dt will become -1. So where the curve becomes, the curve slope is -1 to the point where this vo, okay, fine, one minute, this point is here. So on the point where the curve is -1 to the point of vol, we say it is a low noise margin. And further, when we go to the logic 0 case, again the same, in the same characteristic, like this is the slope here. At this point a -1 slope will be there. From this point to the maximum input VOH, from here to here will give you the calculation of high noise margin. Okay, so how to calculate this from the VTC curve? So when we do calculation of your low noise and high noise margin, we should know all the four parameters, that is VOL, VOH, VIH, and VIL. So all this, when all these four parameters are known, then only we can calculate what is the noise margin for this particular device. So for that calculation from the VTC curve, when we get the slope, when we run the, when we do the DC sweep of the inverter, we will get this type of curve. And from the curve, putting the cursors, we get the values of VOL, VIL, VIH, and VOH. Okay, so from here we predict what will be the noise margins, and that first we'll go through the, what we say, this one, to the equations. What will be the equations to calculate these four parameters, and then we'll see some problems based on this. Now this is the noise margin calculation of some technology. Now technology here means, the channel length. channel length L. Now this channel length L, now there are different companies which fabricate the MOS device. Now based on the fabrication of MOS device, different companies try to model the MOSFET parameters. Like according to the fabrication, they say for this particular length, these are the associated capacitances. This is the doping, and this much I have done. So I have got this parameter, and this MOSFET is working on some particular X voltage. So like if I say one CMOS technology is there, CMOS technology, in this some company has fabricated a CMOS transistor, and they say that my transistor is best operating at 5 volt. Means I have designed the transistor for proper operation up to 5 volt we can operate very easily. So for 5 volt he has given the parameters, like my supply it can tolerate is 5 volt. Then after this device fabrication, they go for the different calculations of what will be the weak 1 value, that this much voltage you can consider at logic 1, and this voltage you can consider as logic 0. So they have given the fluctuation that this much is the tolerance level. Now addition to that, maybe due to some noise there will be some disturbance to the voltage, so you can consider up to 3.5 volt as logic 1 and 1.5 volt as logic 0. Okay, so now you see how much is the uncertainty region here, that is 3.5 minus 1.5, nearly 2 volt. So in the noise margin, this region is nothing but 3.5 2 volt. Okay, 2 volt is the transition range. And there is a third parameter called VTH. VTH voltage is called as a inverter threshold voltage. This is a VTH is your threshold, but this threshold is your inverter threshold voltage. Now, what is the inverter threshold voltage? Inverter threshold voltage is the voltage at which both the transistors are in the on condition. Generally in CMOS we say when one is off, another should be on. When one is on, another should be off, and we do the analysis. But in actual, what happens? There a time comes where when both the transistors are in the on condition. So at the point where both the transistors are in the on condition, and there is some specific name called saturation, when both the transistors are in saturation and both are in on condition, then that voltage is called a threshold voltage. So basically this threshold voltage says how much is logic 1 falling under, how much range of voltage is falling under logic 1 and how much range is falling under logic 0. If I say it is an ideal inverter, if I say an ideal inverter is there, then this should be the curve. If Vi and Vn naught is there, this should be my curve of an ideal inverter. And if you say this is 0 and this is VDD, so what should be this voltage? The fluctuation, the change in the voltage should occur at VDD by 2. So for an ideal inverter voltage, this is your VTH. This is your VTH, inverter threshold voltage. At this point of time, means for a full swing, if I say, so at VDD by 2, above to VDD by 2 is logic 1 and below to VDD by 2 is logic 0, if it is a perfect inverter. But generally it is not the case, so that's why in between some uncertainty regions are there. Similarly, if I go for some TTL and they have given your MOS models, so they said that TTL 5 volt is my, this one MOSFET is operating in 5 volt, but my VOH is 2.4 and here VIL is 0.8, and similarly VIH is given and VOL is given and inverter threshold voltage is given. So now if you see, same supply is there 5 volt, but this is some other fabrication technique, this is some other TTL based design. So in this VOL and VH all varies. So this means based on the circuit configurations, based on the logics, standard logics which we are using, the voltage, the noise margin calculation changes. So whenever we go for any design implementation in real time, we have to refer the data sheets. All these informations are given in the data sheets. This is low voltage TTL logic, and low voltage means it is operating is 3.3 volt. So corresponding to 3.3, all are being scaled. Okay, then this is again a CMOS logic. and it is it's designed for 2.5 volt. Again, CMOS, it is designed for 1.8 volt. Other than CMOS, you will hear the word TSMC, UMC, IBM. These are also the technologies. They give their own MOSFETs, and own MOSFET, they have their own operating voltage and their own VOL and VOH values are there. So there are different companies, so different fabrications, different parameters you can see for the same, even for the same supply operating voltages also. Okay, so whenever we go for design, we always check for the data sets. So that's why data sheet is very important in design. So this was your static behavior. So in the static behavior, this was just the introduction to the static behavior. Th- that we will do calculations later on. Now coming to the dynamic behavior. In the dynamic behavior, what you will study? You will study about the time, the rise time, fall time, propagation delay, which decides the speed of the circuit. So what is the definition of rise time? The rise time is time required for the transition from 10 to 90%. Okay. When we do charging, and when we do charging, when it rises from 10% to 90%, we say whatever the time consumed is your nothing but your rise time. That is denoted by T suffix R. Similarly, fall time. What is fall time? Fall time is the time required for the transition from 90 to 10%. Okay, from 90 to 10% will give you the fall time, that is denoted by T of F. Then the question is, what is V of 10% and what is V of 90% in terms of the given values in the data sheet, that is VOL and VH. So V of 10%, if we talk about output, V of 10% is given by VOL. What is the minimum logic? That is, which is your VOL, and 10% means zero point 0.1 into the difference in the logic, that is VOH minus VOL. 10% zero point 0.1 VH minus VL. Similarly, V 90% means with respect to ground we are doing. So VOL plus this level is zero point 0.9 of the difference between VOH and VOL. Okay. So which is the explanation of 10 and 90% voltage calculation. Then comes the propagation delay. Propagation delay means when we give input, the output we take. So time difference between the input and output, that is called as a propagation delay. And the difference, and the definition is difference between the time between input and output reaching to 50%. Means propagation delay is measured with respect to 50% transition. Hmm. So what is V 50%? VH plus VL divided by 2. Okay, so 50% calculation is done by VH plus VL divided by 2, and total propagation delay is given by, now if we, now suppose if this is the curve, so this is the what type of transition? Low to high, and this side is high to low. So low to high is denoted by LH, and high to low is denoted by HL. Now if we do calculation of propagation delay, so we'll denote that T low to high, T high to low. So T TP stands for propagation delay. To TPLH means propagation delay due to low to high transition. So low to high transition means how much time is consumed in reaching 50%, and high to low means what time is consumed from reaching from high to low, means from when we go from here to here. So this will be TP high to low, and this will be TP low to high. Okay. So okay, so this is the high to low and low to high, and total propagation delay is given by taking the average of the two delays, and this decides the how much time is taken to compute the output. Now graphically, if you see, this is the input curve and this is the output. Now since it is an inverter, we'll get the signal out of it. So this is the input which is traveling here, then A time gap is there when it reaches to logic 1, and then it comes to logic 0. So this is the input. So this is the input and this is the output here. So when we transmit, definitely there will be some delay consumed by this inverter to predict the output. So, so that delay is denoted by, let's say this is the amount of that delay is D. Okay, D delay is taken here. So what is the definition of rise time? Rise time is the definition of 10 to 90%. So 10 to 90%, if I take the input curve, so 10 VUL to 10% will be here. So from here to 10 to 90% will give you rise time. So from this to this is your rise time. Similarly, if we talk about fall time, so 90 to 10. So this complete will be your fall time. So this is in the input curve. If I talk about the output, the same definition goes. So in the output, it is coming from high to low. So 90 to 10 is your high to low. So this is your fall time, and from 10 to 90 is your rise time. Okay. So this is a rise time and fall time. Okay. So now comes the low to high and high to low transition. So what is the 50%? 50% will be somewhat about here, and this 50% is nothing but average of VOH plus VOL. Total is VOH plus VOL divided by 2 will give you this 50% value. Now in this 50%, from this 50% is at this point, and so this 50% if you draw, it comes here, and the output 50% is here. So the difference between these two is nothing but high to low transition time. Okay, so output is coming from high towards low. So TPHL is high to low transition in this 50%. Similarly, if we go for the low to high transition, so input 50% to the output 50%, input to output 50%. So this is the time taken. So this time is taken as TPLH, low to high transition. This means when I will calculate the delay, the time delay of high to low, I will be considering this region, the MOSFET working in this region of operation. And when I will go for the low to high, I will be working in which region of operation? This region of operations. Okay, so this analysis we will do in when we will study the dynamic behavior, and then we will calculate what are the parameters on which this time function, this time depends on. Okay, so this was your static and dynamic behavior introduction. Now coming to the n channel MOS inverter. So this is your n channel MOS inverter, means NMOS. The short form is your NMOS. So this is your NMOS, and how we have decided looking at the arrow direction. Now in the arrow direction, we look for the source terminal or the bulb. So if we rotate it in anti-clockwise, the arrow will come at the this end. This means this is your source, this is your drain, and this is your gate. Now the arrow is coming outward. This means it is a NMOS device. Okay, since it is a NMOS, this means for logic 1 it will be in the on condition. When it is on, and let's assume very less resistance is here, so what will happen? The complete this ground potential will reflect to the output, means output will get a discharge part to the ground, and my this whatever the Cout charge will be there. Cout is the output capacitance associated with this node. So this complete charge will get discharged to this one. This means for logic 1 it will give you, logic 1 means it will give you ground here. Ground means 0. And when it is 0, NMOS is off, and whatever the supply will be there, that will be reflected to the output. Then 1 will come. So this is behaving like an inverter. Now the question comes, since we know this is okay, and what about this part? Okay, if I want my V out for this particular, if I want my V out to be equal to VDD, so what will happen here? So if I write the equation, so V out is equals to VDD minus VL. if I write the complete this equation, loop equation, so what will VDD minus VL minus V out, because it is plus minus, equals to 0. So what is V out here? VDD minus VL. This means if I am designing a perfect inverter and I want a full swing, this means at the output I should get, my ideal requirement is V out should be VDD. So what should be VL? VL must be 0 in this case. This means here I want a minimum drop. Okay, here I want a minimum drop. Similarly, in the bottom case also, here I will want a minimum drop. So this so minimum drop, so in order to realize the minimum drop, we look for, because here whatever the device we will use, definitely there will be some voltage drop will be there, either it can be MOS or resistor or capacitor, anything can be there. But due to this drop we can get a degraded output. So if we go for the load variation analysis, the first one can be, the simplest logic is put a resistor and then calculate here. So what will happen here? When input is 1, logic 1 is there. When input is 0, then logic 0 should come, and 0 is here, but here it is not coming perfect 0. Why not perfect 0 is there? Because here is some drop. What is that drop? So we know this drop is nothing but your, okay, this is the MOSFET. The resistance is, let's say RS is there. Okay, so whatever D2, that is a function of RS. Okay, similarly if VDD is here and we are getting output where, so what is this one? This is due to function of R. Okay, that means V0 is equals to VDD minus I into R. So if my IR, this is nothing but IR drop. So if my R is very less, let's say I have that R I have put very less, then what will happen? I will get approximate the VDD voltage. So depending upon the R value, my output I will change. Okay. So with the resistive logic, then we'll get certain we'll get some values of VOL, VOH, VIH, and VIL. This means for the resistive based inverter, there will be some VOL, VH, the noise margin. If I go instead of resistor, if I use some MOSFET here, then again this values will change, because it all is a function of the type of load. So the very simple inverter is your resistive. So this is a resistive load shown. Now the second type of load can be your this MOSFET load, and this MOSFET load is called as a saturated load.